Hello and welcome back to Yorkshire Railway, and welcome back to another model railway review. Today we're going to be doing another rolling stock review, and this time is from Hornby. So this I picked up at a event at Doncaster Racecourse, and they had a few model railway sort of stalls. It was basically a whole toy fair. They were selling second-hand and brand new items. So I picked this up for brand new, and as you can see by the sticker, it was £15. I actually got it for £10. So yeah, I can't really fault this, but yeah, this is a R6791 OTA Timber Wagon in the parallel stanchions, number 12265. So yeah, it's a fantastic looking, very unusual piece of rolling stock. Unlike something, I don't have anything like this already, so yeah, quite excited to get it out onto the track. So what I'll do now is we'll take a look at it in closer detail. There we go. So, first thing to note, there is a tiny little accessories bag with some piping on there. Very nice that it is in the clamshell packaging. There we go, I'll pop that over there. So here we are, the rolling stock, the OTA Timber Wagon, and I must say it is an absolutely fantastic piece of rolling stock. I love this sort of teal colour. We've got lovely printed signs and writing on there. You can see the writing underneath there. Loads of separately fitted parts on here and separately painted. We've got metal wheels, metal buffers, but they're not sprung, but that's okay. Lovely painted axle rods. They are slightly pivoting, so as you can see, the coupling hook, it is a slightly rotating axle, so that's interesting. And I mean, look at the detail underneath on the underframe there. That is absolutely really finely detailed. Obviously it is in one colour, so I'm not sure how realistic that is, but at the same time I think it is absolutely fantastic. Move around to one of the ends here, just trying not to break any of the fine detail, but yeah, if I just focus in on that, you can see there's these really fine markers on there, warning labels, and separate painted, picked out parts there. So that is absolutely fantastic. And obviously flipping it over, you can see we've got this wooden planking effect on the bottom with these rods already in place. Relatively straight, not all of them are, but they are a little bit plausible in their design. But yeah, I think that's an absolutely incredible piece of rolling stock. So I think what we'll do now is we'll get it onto the track and give it a bit of a free roll test. Okay, so we're just over the point work here. We'll just give it a nudge. Yeah. Just see. Yes, it's not the most free roll of sorts. It's not incredibly free rolling, so do bear that in mind. However, it doesn't really weigh much, so that is one thing to take into account, that it's a very light piece of rolling stock, so I don't think any locomotive is going to struggle picking that up. Okay, so let's try coupling up. Yep, success. So yeah, we'll send the OTA round the lap. Okay, so time for some ratings for Hornby's OTA Timber Wagon. And we're going to start off with performance, which is a little bit of a bummer really. Well, I've awarded it 3.5 stars, and I'll get to my justifications about that. But yeah, it's a real shame really that it couldn't be higher in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, this is perfectly good at running. It's stayed attached to the locomotive. It's ran really well, no derailments or anything like that. But I think it's solely let down by the fact that it's not very free running. And although it certainly is very light, it has a very plastic construction. But the only trouble really I find with it is the wheels seem to have some form of resistance, and that to me says that the actual chassis housing for the bogies isn't it's either too tight or it's just not being designed properly. Certainly should have been overlooked by Hornby, and they should have probably rectified this before putting it into production. But for me, I've had rolling stock like this before, and over time it's probably not going to be the best runner in the world, as it's, especially if it is too tight, because all that'll happen is it'll just cause wear, and eventually it'll probably develop a bit of a wobble, and eventually it'll sort of become useless, and it'll just be a static piece of rolling stock. So it certainly is a bit of a shame on that part, because the detail wise I've awarded it 4 stars. I think it's incredibly detailed. The underframe of the chassis and all the separately fitted parts on there, it's absolutely amazing really, quality from Hornby in that sort of terms. The only thing that is stopping it getting a 5 star is the fact it doesn't come with a load, which, spoiler alert for the Bachmann OTA review, that does come with a timber load. So yeah, that is the only reason Hornby is getting marked down from a 5 star, is put a load in it. Really, it's simple as that. If it came with a removable load, I would have awarded it 5 stars. Livery wise, I'm going to award it 5 stars because I think the coloration of this wagon is so unusual. I've never seen anything like it before, and there's no paint bleed between that and the upright struts that would hold the timber in place. All the separately fitted the separately coloured in picked out parts that are in white as well. They're absolutely fantastic. There's no paint bleed on any of it. The axle boxes on the bogies, they're separately painted in that sort of crimson red. So yeah, it's an incredibly well painted and striking model. So yeah, I've awarded it 5 stars for its livery. Quality wise, again, it all just goes back to the free runningness. It's not a very heavy model. There's no metal die cast in there. It is just simply plastic construction. Very, very nicely designed plastic construction, I should say, but it is just the fact that the design of the axle boxes just hasn't been brilliant, and that is causing a bit of resistance. Therefore, the running is going to be compromised from that. And then we get to value. So the value for this, as I said at the beginning of the video, I paid £10 for this. I think for £10 this is an absolutely fantastic bargain, and even at the full retail price, they're quite competitive in comparison to Bachmann. You sort of pay around the £45 mark, I think it is, for Bachmann's OTA, whereas the full price of this is about £30. So yeah, a bit of a higher price than what I've paid, but at the retailers you can pick them up sort of for the mid-20s, so there is a big difference, and realistically the load is the only difference between the two. You get a realistic load with the Bachmann, you don't with this, but you could always make one should you so wish. So yeah, I think the value is pretty decent for that. It's just a shame that the axle boxes are letting this down, which means that its overall rating is 4.2 stars, which to me is a bit of a sort of surprise really. So obviously, yeah, the value and the livery probably have boosted this up, but in terms of the performance and the quality, it's just been let down, and it's a shame really that a lot of these things do slip through Hornby's quality control. It seems to be the only thing really Hornby is bad at. Their quality control, time and time again, there's a lot of things that slip through unnoticed and unchecked, and I think that really needs to be addressed, especially with the new price increases that have been implemented. So for future releases of anything, Hornby are going to be scrutinised, especially by me, of any sort of quality issue. You know, it will be getting marked down really vigorously, because you can't start charging an extra like 10% on top of what you originally said are new models and have issues like this. It just is unacceptable. So yes, let me know in the comments down below, do you agree with my ratings? Do you think I've been spot on, or do you think I've been a little bit too harsh? Do you own one of these wagons? Do you prefer this or the Bachmann? And let me know if you've enjoyed this video, as well as don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and if you can and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out, and you'll get to see more videos from me. So that is everything from me today, guys. Take care, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later.